about that. Oh man, listen. I was almost on the boot list. Well, I was on the boot list. And just yesterday, paid a ticket. Shout out to folks. Paid a ticket, you know what I'm saying? And put myself on a payment plan. And then I got home late on the day. And for all y'all people be like, yo, you be sleeping everywhere I went home. I was home 10 o'clock last night. You know what I'm saying? Why y'all fucking? It's like, nah, I know y'all love me, y'all. And that's why I don't tip on it. I know, man, I be in the wheel way too much, but I be trying to make shit happen. There's a lot of transition going on, you know. I love transition though, cause you know, being stagnant for so long is like to have these different things. Like some of the things that folks like stress out about, like life stuff. I'm not saying it doesn't become. I'm not gonna say stress. I'm gonna say a certain level of pressure for me. But it was like for so long, I just wanted to have quote unquote regular problems. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be in jail. That was my own stress of being in there. But at the same time, I was like, I wish I had the stress of having to pay a bill or figure out how I'm going to pay the rent, or like, even though that's high stress, don't get it twisted. But I'd rather, if you was going to weigh out the stress the way your brain is working, I would rather be having that stress than the stress of, am I going to go home? Why I got to go to the cell again tonight? Why I got to sleep in here? Why they waking me up 6 a.m? Count time, ringing the bell. Get up out your bed, stand at the door. Like that shit feels wild. I'd rather have, damn, I'm gonna get this money so I can pay these bill problems. And they are stressful, you know, in their own right. But if you have tickets and the administration, they have a lot going on as far as police presence, PPA, all of that. So people be mindful. Live stops is real. I know we went through a 3-year period when the cops weren't doing anything. They weren't working. You know, and now all of a sudden they're pulling everybody over under this administration. They out. Some people believe that police presence is it creates safety for us. It does not. Historically, you could show statistically. Jamie would be calling me during the show. Yes, I'm saying it. James Wright is calling me during the show. I'm not answering. I'm gonna talk to him after the show. So we're gonna that was very unprofessional, but it was a little funny. I know y'all thought it was funny a little bit. Can you slide up a little bit so we can get the content? Yeah. And I said, James, that's my brother right there. That's James Wright right there, right on cue. That's the guy that just called me during the show. Shout out to Nick Raw Cannon. So we're gonna run this because I didn't do this part, and you know this is the most important part. This is PSA, Philly Service Announcement, Takeover Tuesday, Takeover Love, Support, Grace, Social Activism, Resource, and Art. I'm not going to do the whole thing with the assist. Shout out to Nick. I am the assist. Shout out to Mal, Carlita, my nephew Anwar in the building, seeing me do what I do. I know I'm great at the things that I do, nephew. I like messing with him like this. But we're going to get to the show. I'm going to stop acting like this. We're not going to do comedy hour. I do need to do stand-up, though. I do need to attempt stand-up. I think over the last year or so, I've noticed that I'm really, really funny. Seriously. And I can make people laugh. And I love doing it. And laughing does a lot of great things for people. If you somebody that can make people laugh, when people ask you what you bring to the relationship, say, I make people laugh. Look it up. Look what laughter does. So, without further ado, you know, we're going to get to our guests. Can you please tell everybody who you are? Because I don't like introducing people. I don't want to mess any names up, anything, you know. That can be that can start some problems if you mess with people's names.
All right. So my name is Aquila Brown. Mm-hmm. I'm the executive director of Know Your Worth Girls Inc. We're a nonprofit organization located in West Philly at the Urban Art Gallery.
Okay. So where did we meet at?
I'm not even sure if we personally met. I think that you probably met my daughter.
Okay.
She looks exactly like me.
Right, that's a good thing.
It's a little younger, but I think that you met her at the Urban Art Gallery when they had the Urban Art Fest.
Okay, summer. Yeah, I bought some artwork. Shout out to my brother Twiz. I gotta bring it on the show so everybody can see it. Yes, I own art. I've invested. Y'all gotta get into that. And you gotta, you know, portfolio stuff. They say you gotta have art and stuff in there. It appreciates. Art appreciates. So I'm very big on identity. You know, we always ask 3 questions. I normally ask like, who are you? And that's in terms of, you know, your name, brick and mortar, the business you do, where you want people to come, you know, on social media to see you, come to an office that you have. But I'm also want to know like a little about you. Like, what part of the city you from, or where your family is traditionally from, or you're the daughter of this person and that person. You know what I'm saying? Because I think, and I always repeat this because I want us to think about it, Black folk, one of our biggest issues is that we lack identity. We fall into a lot of the things that we fall into because we don't know where we come from. We don't have anything that we feel like we represent. You know what I mean? So we fall victim to a lot of things because of that lack of identity. And you can normally ask Black folk a lot of things about other people, and they can run down all of these stats. And when you ask them about themselves, it's like, you know what I mean? So again, let us know who you are, but give me some brick and mortar, give me social media, and give me a little bit about you identity-wise.
Okay. So brick and mortar, located, our program site is at the Urban Art Gallery on 52nd Street. You guys can follow us on Instagram at KYW Girls, Inc., period. So a little bit about me. I mean, I'm from Uptown originally. I'm always shouting out Uptown. People really think that I'm from West, though, because in my teenage years, like when I turned 13, I came from Uptown and moved with my mom in Winfield. So just being able to rep both sets at the end of the day. But yeah, my family, everybody is from Uptown, 16th and Nedro. I kind of like grew up there with my grandma. I was born to my mom and dad. They kind of like, you know, were struggling with drug issues. So my grandma kind of like raised me, and I want to say like maybe six of my cousins.
Right.
Yeah, we was bunk bedding it up.
Right. Now, I already know that life. We not try, but we talk about that a lot from the standpoint that's a dope thing, because that was our DHS. That was our foster system. You know what I'm saying? Us, grandmom taking on nieces, nephews, neighbors' kids. And that's one of those good old days things that we need to revisit a little bit, you know, because we talk about how these systems come in and they're not doing a good job with taking on children, or when children are going through different levels of things, we finding out they're getting even more abused when they go through these systems.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And then you know what goes on and has gone on, but I know that to be something that I know people that took on a lot of children that wasn't theirs.
Yeah.
You know, and it's dope that you bring that up, because that is something that we like to talk about. We like to promote, like that community aspect, and probably lends to why you do the stuff you do. And I'm gonna get to that question, but the next question that we normally ask is, what is your resource?
So my resources is pretty much, we provide a mentoring program called Black Girls in Sync. Focus on at-risk girls located in Philly. We pretty much provide different resources and opportunities for them, such as youth entrepreneurship. We do, well, first and foremost, self-esteem building. I feel like self-empowerment, self-love is the key of our organization. So if you don't have that, then you don't have nothing. So we focus on that, but we also teach the girls other things such as etiquette, mindset development. We also are big on mental health and wellness as well. I feel like I've been an advocate of therapy since 2010. I remember when my mom had a stroke, and I couldn't fathom the fact that I had to stop my career. I was in the midst of graduating from Lincoln Tech with my associate's degree. Shout out to Lincoln Tech for that, because I was like one of the first out of my family to be able to get a degree. Right. But I think that being able to just go through that, I don't know. I've just lost my train of thought, low key, but
no, I got you. You were saying with your because that happens to me, so I understand. Yeah. There's be a lot going on. Yeah. So I had asked what your resource was.
Got you. So mentorship program, mental health and wellness. I was talking about my mom. She had a stroke, right? And I couldn't understand. I was about to graduate. I think I was like 2 months out of graduating with my associate's degree. She had a stroke, and I was trying to figure out. She wanted me to take care of her. She didn't want home health care, all of that stuff. So I had to stop everything that I was doing to be able to take care of her. But I did graduate. But I had to learn how to cope with that, right? Because again, if we go back to what I said from the rip, you know, she was on drugs. She really, handed over the parentmanship to my grandma. So I didn't know how to fathom or forgive her for that at that moment. I was still growing with that myself. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to therapy. I got to figure this out, because at the end of the day, I have to learn how to forgive her so that I can be able to thrive at my best capacity and be the best for my kids. So.
Nah, and I do understand that my mom had a stroke in 2016. I was still incarcerated at the time. I do know I didn't cause the stroke, but I know stress from me being incarcerated added to all the other things that she was going through. So coming home and having to like, I want to live my life. I have to live my life, but I have to stop and do what I'm doing for my mom. And after like 2 years, it became overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And it was like one of those things where I'm starting to feel like I'm locked up again. Like I can't move. I can't. And my mom was on the same time. Like, I'd rather you be here 24 hours a day. And it's like, nah, I can't do that. And that's what wound up happening. Yeah. And then I don't know and I don't want to go too far into this, but it is a real topic. And I went to an event maybe about a week ago where the young woman was talking about programming policies, legislation around home health aides and being those first responders and them having more respect in the workplace and the companies because those companies start up so easy because it's the overhead is so small, you know what I'm saying? You can make so much money and not have to put so much into the business, but the people that you're hiring for $11 to $15 an hour, what type of quality workforce are you going to get when you're paying that amount of money? You feel what I'm saying? And that was a big thing that she was talking about, having that respect in the workplace for those folks, especially folks who are related to whoever the client is, because the companies leave everything on you. Absolutely. Your family leaves everything on you. The people who are working around you, when they don't want to come to work on time, they don't want to come to work, whatever it is, like, oh, her son going to be there. Her son going to be there. The company, the same thing. You need other people. Oh, your son is there. And then your mom, grandmom, whoever it is, they want you to be there. And then I've been in an experience, you know, I know my sister deals with this to a certain extent, and I've talked to other people where it's that level of like resentment when you didn't really do the things for me that a mother was supposed to do for me, and now I'm in this position where I'm stopping my life to make sure you're okay. Mm-hmm. And that's not something you can really say out loud to people, you know, although we saying it right now, but folks gonna look at you like, that's your mom. That's your mom. That's your grandmama, whoever. Like, you supposed to do it. And it's like, damn, for real though? You know what I'm saying? So even though that wasn't what you were saying about the resource, that is a very valid point. A lot of us are taking care of parents and in those situations, going through those emotions, needing to go to therapy around those situations. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I know it was a little off of what we was talking about, but it's something that is close to me because I've dealt with it. I'm still dealing with it. And I know a lot of people, because we living in an aging society, are dealing with those questions and how they're going to take care of people as they age with all of the traumas that black folk done been through leading up to the point where you need this help from these folks that you probably traumatized. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to go too far off on the John, but I know that was something that was needed, and I appreciate you putting that out there. But what other resources do you have around our young sisters?
So besides the mentoring program that we provide, we also we partner with University of Penn, and we created a mental health and wellness program called Hope-ish. Mm-hmm. Now, this program is specifically dope because it allows young girls to, you know, build resilience in the face of tragedy. Mm-hmm. One of our mentees, she had lost her dad in 2018, and she had this platform of being a model, and she was like on billboards, all types of stuff. Disney created a doll out of her, all of this stuff. So she came to me and she was like, I want to be able to create this event called Hope-ish. So we was like, nah, let's come to the table. How can you impact in a greater way? Mm-hmm. So she was like, I want to be able to create a program. So she said, we sat down, we created a proposal. We did our 1-2 and we pitched it to Penn, and Penn was able to hop on board and provide us with a research partner so that we can be able to actually, you know, just collect data and make sure that it's a proven, you know, program that works. Right. So shout out to her, Zahira Bailey. She's 14 now, but the fact that we have a young lady that was willing to say, you know what, I want to be able to teach other people other girls that's my age how to utilize coping mechanisms and how to get through the grief and the trauma, that's surrounded. Philly, we going through a lot of stuff right now. So I think when she created that, it was really dope.
Nah, that's really a good thing, because I do believe in the thing of resilience. And it's funny how those two things tie into what you said. Like, I've done research. I have done research on more than one occasion. One is with Street Par, and Dr. Payne wrote a book, and it talks about gun violence and why young people get into this lifestyle when they living in these impoverished neighborhoods and all that. And one of the things that he talks about very deeply and profoundly is how important resilience is. Like, these young people that you're saying are super predators, criminals, bad, knuckleheads, whatever you call them, grown, she sassy, whatever it is, they're working with the materials that they've been given up until that point, and this is what survival is for them. So really, they're being resilient. We only gave them a limited amount of resources. They have a limited amount of information. They've been on the planet, and I love to get people to think like this. Like, they've been on the planet 14 years. If they went astray, whose fault really is it?
Absolutely.
The folks that been on the planet double that or triple that. It's your fault when somebody that been on the planet 10, 11, 12, 14 years bang out, smack out, crash out, whatever you want to call it. When they make these mistakes, it's really your fault, because what did you give them to work with? So the research, he writes a lot about that, about resilience, and how this is what these young men and women have been taught to survive. And now we acting like it's this big problem with just them. That's not shouldn't be looked at inwardly. And in a way that we prove that is with the research. And showing these young folks that the importance of data. Like, you can solve your own issues. You can get to the root of trauma by doing research. You know what I'm saying? If you want to, it actually helps you heal, understanding data. Like, what are the things that were going on around me that had me feel this way or go through that, or what was going on with my mom, or what was going on in the neighborhood at that time that folks was being led this way. And I'm being left with this lot that I'm being left with. So that research part of it is very major. Again, I appreciate that point being brought up, because we are doing research. We're pushing for more people to do research. We'll come do research in your neighborhood. We have a Canvas program, Village Restoration Project. My nephew, he's one of the folks, one of the first young people to go through the program, do it, very successful in Mantua. Got a lot of stuff that we can do off of that research, using the circles to allow people to know how to use the research that you bring, that data that you bring back. So it's a dope thing for us to have young people moving with that thought process.
Absolutely.
So the other question I would ask is, why do you do what you do?
So why do I do what I do?
I feel like you said a little bit of it with the different things that you said, but why do you do what you do?
I feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like I do what I do is because I feel like Allah put me on this earth to do the work that I do, period. I don't know. I always was a giver. I always felt like I was always giving. I was always looking out. Just, teaching people, always being a mentor to young girls. So I just wanted to be able to, utilize it in a more effective way. Like, I have daughters, right? My two younger, I have 5 kids, but my 2 younger daughters, biologically, I wanted to be able to provide a platform, not only for them, but other girls that look like me, that went through similar trials as I did, so that I can teach them the skills so that they can prevent from going through the same thing. So sort of like providing them a shortcut.
Right.
I'm here, if I could be able to...
A rite to passage.
Absolutely. If I can teach you how to be a hustler, a positive hustler. I was working since I was 8, so I know how to do that. I got you. I'm gonna help you, build a business, do whatever it is. If I could teach you how to not make a mistake, just anything. I don't know. I just always felt like it was within my spirit to do so. Also, I think that what really woke me up was when I was in my I want to say early 20s. I was dating this guy for a while, and this was before I even took my shahada, right? Even though my dad was always Muslim, but this was before I took my shahada officially, because I was raised by grandma. What grandma used to do, go to church, right? So I think that I don't know. When I had to take my Shahada and they told me that I had to pick God first, Allah first, I didn't know how to do that. I love this man so much that I've always put him first. So then once I realized that that wasn't the way it was supposed to be, I started realizing that, I need to know my worth and know who I am and value myself. And that way I could be able to be, more beneficial to others as well. So I think that that's really what kind of like sparked that.
And you said something that's really important about like self-esteem. Like it's a lot of young women and going into various ages, it don't really stop at an age, who are dealing with self-esteem issues. And how big is that with young women, young Black women? Like,
I think it's really big. I mean, a lot of girls, young ladies that come into my program face those challenges, right? I just feel like I'm here. That's why, and I ain't gonna say like I'm the big savior.
I got you.
But at the end of the day, this is my job. I feel like it's my job to be able to, when I hear a young lady say I can't, it's like that galls my soul, yo. Like I'll be crushed inside. I'm like, you can't. Oh no, we don't use those words in here. Oh, you don't think you beautiful? Oh no, we got to change that. So I'm that type of person where I got the remedy for you. Like I'm gonna teach you whatever you need to know to be able to get over that hump, because we're gonna teach you your worth. You're gonna know your self-value when you leave my program.
And I see, I mean, I know you do too, and it shows in a lot of ways. What are some of the things that you working against? You know what I mean? That you feel like you working against, like you coming up with these solutions for these young women. But what are some of the things that you think are causing them to get deeper into self-esteem issues and stuff like that? Like, what are some of those things, like how you say can't is a no-no?
Okay.
Like, what are some of the things like Instagram, social media, shows, music? Like, how do you approach those things that you know are pushing those ideas on the young women?
I mean, I think that being able to just give them affirmation and just being a leader, right? And not being a follower. Because I think that social media messed us up so bad that everybody wants to be up with the trends and do what everybody else is doing and follow that flock. Nah, be yourself. Be yourself authentically. Love who you are. And then make the conscious decisions on how you want to navigate through those platforms.
I think that's it's like TV. When I was younger, I learned that TV is something that is like you have to show people how to watch it. Like literally the news, you got to show people how to watch it. It's like music right now. It's kind of like if you want to listen to this music, at some point it has to be some explanation. Like if we're going to say, I do believe artists know at this point that they have to have more responsibility in the things that they say. But at the same time, parents, if we going to listen to this music with these young folks, because that's what's wind up happening, or you're going to allow these young folks to listen to this music, at some point we got to have a conversation about what's being heard.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where like folks like you come in, where it's like, all right, I know that they're getting these influences. I know what my baby's coming in here with, how they dealing, because I could tell that's how you deal with them. I could tell how your energy is, how you explain it and everything. That's how it goes. Like, yeah, these my kids, like these my children. Real. You know what I mean? I know that life. You know what I'm saying? I know that energy. I know that life. So, but I know those are the things that I just be wanting to get across on both sides when we have these conversations, and people be like, again, I'm on a radio station that plays all types of music, and it's like I listen to all types of music, but I believe that we do have to hold space to explain what's coming out.
Absolutely.
Because we know these children are getting this music and they're going to act it out. And if we all listen to the music at the same time. So my bad, people, you never supposed to have your joint on. You're supposed to turn it off before the show and all that. I was slipping. My bad, I apologize. But we know that these things are being conveyed in the music. We hear it. You got to explain it. I was talking about on the show a couple of weeks ago about those uncomfortable conversations. And I really think we need to start teaching our young people about their bodies more.
Absolutely.
And we need to start teaching them about, like, sex ed is a real thing, because sex is a very, very powerful conversation. It's a very powerful communication between two people. And it's a lot that goes into it. Absolutely. And we're making it into just this, like, you think it's just this pleasure thing, but you know, like I always say, is STDs come from this.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Babies are real things. They're real people. They're real creations. You got to play God. What are you going to do with that power? You in control of a young mind. What are you going to do with that? You got to think about that before you decide that you're going to engage in something where a child can come out.
No, absolutely.
And that conversation is not being had enough. Like, we don't have to scare our children away from something that is very natural, is very spiritual, is very beautiful. When it's put in that context, when it's explained to them in that way, it's not being explained to them in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think with programs like yours, I think I try to, and I'm sure you probably already doing it in your own way if y'all don't have a specific program for like sex ed and teaching young folks about their bodies, the parts of their bodies, anatomy, the whole nine.
So we actually do add that within our mentorship program.
Right.
We focus on sexual awareness,
right.
all of that. Of course, our young girls, which we call our Bellas, their ages 8 to 12, we teach them like hygiene and, you know what I'm saying, the age appropriate things.
Right.
But our 13 to 17-year-olds, we going in. We teaching y'all about everything, how to prevent consent. I think that that's really big too nowadays because, you know, just coming from a history of, you know, being sexually assaulted or whatever, it's like, nah, y'all gotta be able to understand what consent means. So I'm gonna be honest. I think that everything that I went through, I kind of like implemented in my organization. So it was like, if I was raped, all right, now I got to teach these kids how to prevent from, I mean, I'm not saying that we can prevent anything, like all of that from not happening, but at least you are conscious and aware of what to do in those situations, right? Just the education behind it. Being able to learn your partner, right?
Yes.
Before you even commit to
learn
that
who
next
people
step.
are. Yeah,
You gotta get to know.
Are, man.
I teach my kids literally like, nah, you have friends, get to know them on a friend level first, period. And then, and I'm thinking the time frame of, I mean, typically you don't get to know somebody until like that 5th year knowing them. But I mean, I know, you know, young relationships.
That's a real thing. No, that's 5 years is like, when I was upstate, I used to joke. I was watching so many relationships crash and burn. And, you know, they showing the stuff on TV and all that. So it's like, so I started realizing like, all right, when they say they getting married, forever is 7 to 10 years.
Absolutely.
That's forever. And then I came home and it's kind of like, that's what it is. Like, if you can make it to 7 years, married, not married, if you can make it that far, it's like, but a lot of that is because our relationship patterns come from our oppressor, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Everything we know about relationships, and that's something I've been, you know, I got a lot of things that I kind of feel like they mantras that I always be saying because it's like, I know this makes sense and I need folks to look at it like that. You know what I mean? And add what you want to add to it. Right. Make it, you can look up, go even deeper into the rabbit hole, as they say. But I just think that's something we should be looking at. Like, we wondering why black men, black women, just talking about our people, are having such struggle maintaining relationships. But if you have a good relationship that normally makes the family structure is good, the neighborhood that you live in, because your family's like it is, it's going to influence other people around you in the neighborhood. I've seen it. And don't let you have 2 or 3 stable families that show black love and this thing working however it work, whether we talking about a Muslim family, because we act, that's a funny thing. We act like that's not a family structure because, and Philadelphia is a Muslim city. So it's like polygamy is a thing, but we don't talk about it in a way as something that can strengthen our communities. If done right. Which, just like monogamy, a lot of it is being done wrong. But if it was done right, it would be another pillar of the community. So that being said, and us knowing that family strengthen communities, why would your oppressor want to give you structures that have a good romantic relationship, as they say? Yeah. And you're getting a lot of your cues from movies that we've been watching, music that we've been listening to, books that we've been reading, stuff from the Disney. In and of its freaking self. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So now we wondering why, when the veil is coming off a lot of that information, and we wondering why we having so much turmoil, just as black men and black women, and having relationships. Right. Because everything that we know about relationships has come from our oppressor.
Shout out to your 136 live people that are watching the show.
Oh, shout out to all of y'all. Y'all getting some of this good podcast information from these black folk doing the work. So, but the thing that that I love about what you saying. One, I recognize the energy. You know what I'm saying? Again, I always got proof for the stuff that I get into. So my nephew could tell you I'm one of those people too. Like everybody is my children. You know, I'll beat your children too though, but that's the part that is a little different.
Like I ain't whooping my kids. I ain't going to jail. They calling the cops now.
Some of these young boys and all that know how men know how it gotta go. Sometimes it gotta be swift and it has to be heavy handed. I'm sorry, with young men. With our daughters, we gotta go about it a different way. It's a very real thing for like that psychological trauma I feel like young women go through with, and this is coming from women. Like I talk to a lot of women. I have a 26-year-old daughter. We talk a lot. She tells me a lot of things. Some things would be like, all right, I gotta take this in. That's why I tell brothers about the not uncomfortable conversation. There's no such thing. Because if she not getting it from me, I failed her. Period, point blank. Even if I didn't know. It's like you should have knew. You knew you was having a daughter, right? Mm-hmm. You knew you laid down with that woman and the baby could come out, right? You knew all that. Well, you should have been smart enough to know what you was going to have to tell that baby if it came out. So even when I don't know and she falls victim to something because I didn't know, it's still my fault. Because I should have known. I knew I was going to be a dad, right? Mm-hmm. And if you did it by happenstance, it's still your fault because you did something knowing you could be a dad and then you're not prepared for it.
Hold on. It goes back to what you said, research, right? You got to do your research. You got to even as a parent.
Yes. Everything involves research. Research everything. How to cook, how to clean. Just start looking stuff up, please. Period. Not all that goofy stuff. We do look up a lot of stuff. It'd be goofiness.
No, for real.
And that's the sway of the Instagram thing and everything. The TV, for somebody that's my age, TV was Instagram before Instagram. They started the reality TV show. MTV started that craziness. You know what I'm saying? With real TV. Like MTV is the people who started this reality TV bullshit that's misguiding people. You know, and we got a lot of black folk in the lane making these shows, putting out images for our young women to follow with no supports around them. Mm-hmm. And then we praising these women because they're making so much money putting this bullshit out. Because that's what it is. I'm not, just like the hip hop that dudes put out, shit I listen to, shit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. But I have done enough research to know that it's bullshit. So I'm going to listen to it, laugh. If I got folks around there, did you hear what he said? Like you bopping your head and it was hot, but did you hear what he said? Did that really make sense to you? Because we could do this all day and rap the lines and all that, but then we're going to have to break this shit down at some point, like I said earlier. And that's what's going on with like reality TV and our women. And this has been unintended, but the last couple shows has really centered around women's issues. Mm-hmm. You know, and shout out to Nick is always going to be up for our ladies. You know, it's a lot of different things that goes on with black women. It's not a struggle Olympics. I have my own unique attack that racism has done to me. And my sister has her own unique attack that racism has had on her. And again, that's that thing we don't talk about that when we begin. What part does racism play in our relationship? Yeah. And we think that it don't play a part because it's me and you black.
Right.
Racism is out there. We going against it, but what is it doing to us in our relationship? What views are we getting that are not adding up? The systems that we working for that might be causing that pressure that you coming home with that I don't understand. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You dealing with some white women at work and they clearly glad I can't even get it out. Gaslighting the situation. Mm-hmm. You know, and then you come home and you trying to talk about it and it's like, nah, you know, y'all women, you could just work it out with them. Don't even pay them no mind. And you're like, no, bro, I might not have a job. I might smack one of these women. I might go to jail. This is going to affect our life, you know? So I do you think that's something do y'all talk a lot about identity and race with the young women?
So identity, yes. As far as race, not so much. But that's something that we're looking to kind of like touch on this year with our organization. Of course, it's called Black Girls in Sync, right?
All day.
So we gotta educate.
One more time, tell them what it's called again.
Black Girls in Sync.
I got you.
It's our mentoring program for girls ages 8 to 17.
Right.
Period.
So I can be somebody that can do a lot of the critical race theory and stuff if y'all want me to come talk about it.
Let's do it.
And I love to, you know, especially talk about it because I do. Some of the folks around me, they be like, what is, do you have a thing with black women? And it's like, nah, I love black women, bro. And I go through what I go to because I do love them. And I do understand why we're going through it, but we still have to try to be in relation as we know what we're going through. You might not know. I'm trying to explain it to you. You like, I don't want to hear about that race shit. It's like, yo, but it's really fucking us up, though.
No, for real.
We really can't get along because that shit is going on. There's certain things that you've learned, there's traumas that's going on with you that comes from that we trying to deal with in the house. And if you're not aware of it, that's something, that's a barrier. It's like you trying to manipulate me, you trying to play with me. You keep saying the white man ain't in the house with us. You saying the white man this, that, and the third. And it's like, but yo, it really kind of is. No. That oppression and the things we've been taught. It's like, I can give you an even better example. Me and my daughter, my daughter is autistic. I am very aware of race. The time I spent in prison, being under control of white folks operating day to day with power, unchecked, and how they deal with our people. Like I dealt with it, and I've seen a lot of views and heard a lot of things, and I can almost apply it to anywhere that I go. And I'm almost never wrong in the thought process that white folks are having, who are racist, who are not trying to even acknowledge that that's something they do. Because you got white folks that's trying to understand and be out front about it. That's cool. Not taking nothing away from them. Cool. But the rest of them is still very vicious.
No.
And we see it every day.
Yeah.
So teaching young folks how to deal with that, have that understanding. Because me and my daughter, mom, we sitting in the hospital. These white women are talking. They have lab coats on. I don't. But I know what I'm talking about. But when I start talking and you don't like what I'm saying in the moment because we're going through something, you don't understand that this is some racial stuff that's going on right now around our daughter that me and you should not be bumping heads about.
Yeah.
It's a clear, we can be upset with each other when we leave the room, but they're playing a game right now. Mm-hmm. And you don't understand it, and you're arguing with me because I'm checking them on it. Because you upset with me about something. That's where racism can play a part in our relationship, and you ain't digging it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In between the lines.
Right. And it's about our baby, so it's heavy for both of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn, and it's going on. You think you know everything, but I'm like, you believe these people because they white and they women. And I'm the only man in the room. And these are things that you don't understand that goes on. All three of those women are feminists. Do you know what that is? And I'm saying from a way when we talking about white women feminists that don't care about nobody but their own issues and use other women for cannon fodder. It's documented. Black women said it. I didn't make it up.
No, for real.
And there's plenty of black women saying it. I didn't make it up. But you don't understand that understanding. So now when I'm trying to explain these things to you and they trying to play the certain woman things with you against me, you don't understand it. You know what I mean? So that's the importance of that having that race conversation with our young people, with our young women. You know what I'm saying? Because we always need to be aware. So I'm somebody that y'all can contract.
Period. Let's go.
Come down. I have expertise in that.
No,
but
I think I've experienced that like a few times, but I'll just share one time. I remember when I first started out with my nonprofit organization, and my kids was attending the school. Now, I was very involved with the school, like from the rip. I'm volunteering at every trip. I'm donating. I don't even, this is the first school I've even donated to this capacity, and I felt good about it. But I remember when I started the organization and I went to, she was the vice president. She was white. And I was pitching my organization to kind of like, see how we can network within the school and get the girls, some extracurricular activities. And the way that this white woman looked at me when I started, like, it was like, who is this intelligent black woman coming in here telling me all of, like, I mean, she just was appalled at the fact that I even, like, created a nonprofit organization. Right. Like, it was impossible. So I had to stick my chest up and do whatever I needed to do, say what I needed to say, but I left out there with grace, right? Mm-hmm. I wound up talking to the principal. She was black. Mm-hmm. And I let her know because I wanted to address it because I didn't feel like it was a fair, exchange. Right. And she was able to, kind of like nip it in the bud. But that is one of the experiences that I did encounter. And it didn't feel too great, but I think when you got confidence in what you do and you're able to not allow people's doings to affect you, you just keep it moving. And all right, that's one.
And that's the thing of understanding it. Like, I know this woman is going off of some pretenses that don't have nothing to do with me.
Right.
That's her problem. So I could still go ahead. I know who you are. And I always want to know that. Like,
Right.
I don't like the ones sitting around me smiling, like, because I'm a big believer in, if you really say, right, as a white person, knowing the history of America, you know the history, you see what's going on, you know the benefit that you have gotten from the things that America has done, and you have played a part. Your ancestors have been firmly involved. You know what I'm saying? So since you know that, and you're saying you want to be equitable, you know, you want to have restorative, transformative justice. I hear a lot of people talking about that. You want reparations and things of that nature. I hear you talking about that. So what I need you to do is, as a white person, go to white communities. Stand on a corner like Hebrew Israelites and let them know that white supremacy is wrong. I don't need you to come and be in the centers with me. I don't need you to come and be at the rec center with me. I don't need you to be there. I need you to tell your people. Because they're the ones still fighting the fight. They the ones still voting for Trump. They the ones still talking about they don't want Obamacare when it's helping them more than anybody else. They the ones still talking about we living off of welfare when there's always more white women on welfare than black women. There's never been a time when it was been different. But you sit here talking about black people are lazy and all of that. Those people really still exist. We see them. They're Trump supporters. Just go look at them. I'm not making it up. It's on TV every day. So the thing that I say to that is, like, we need to understand those things so we can navigate them. We're not making these things up. They do happen. But what I need to do is for all the people who say they allies, co-conspirators, whatever white folks say, who are in coalition with black folk, I need you to preach it to white people more than you preach it to black people, because we already know.
Yeah.
We already know. You don't need to stand next to me and tell me what my issues are with me. I don't need you to stand next to me and tell me what other white people are doing to black people and marginalized people. I need you to be at the dinner table with other white people, nothing but white folks, and stand on yours. The same way you gonna talk around us, go around your own people, go to the cookout, go to the barbecue, and tell your racist grandfather he is racist, and we need to stop that. Until I know y'all doing that, we can't be co-conspirators. We can't be allies. We can't even really be in coalition, because you know who doing it, and you don't want to talk to them. When you in intimate spaces with them, spaces I can never be in. They can come to a symposium, see me standing on the corner yelling and all that, whatever I'm doing to try to get it out. But you be at the dinner table with them. You be at the cookout with them. You be at church with them. You be at all the intimate spaces where you hear all the vicious shit that comes out with me getting fucked up at the end. Oh yeah, your grandpa being racist is what lands me in jail. Even though me and him never meet each other. Because he's going to vote for the motherfucker that's going to put the laws in place and have the cops on bullshit that had me locked up. And then he going to come get a job at the jail. Matter of fact, he too old. He going to send his son. It's a jail out there about a mile away from our house now. Go get a job. I voted for the man that's going to get him locked up to send him up here, and it worked. They all up here. Just go down there.
The setup.
Just go down there. But I digress. My bad. I apologize for that.
Hold on. Shout out to my girlfriend Sarah though. She's white, right?
Okay.
but she's about that life though.
Right.
Like, she's the one. She works for UPenn. She's the one that's putting her foot down.
You talking about Solomon?
Yeah,
I know Sarah Solomon. See, the white folk that do the stuff that I'm talking about. See, we know him. We know him.
Period.
And I know her through Dr. Payne, the one who I do the street par research with.
Okay.
They and Dr. Payne, he talk like I talk to them all the time. And those be the people that be supporting him. You know, she's one of the ones that support him. So, you know, shout out to Sarah. And I ain't gonna lie, I always be looking like,
we
not necessarily her, but I mean, we've been through what we've been through. I'm black, and I'm a black man in America, and I'm black. So I really gotta look at white people like, what you gonna try to do to me before we do this? You know what I'm saying? It's historic. I didn't make it up.
It's a given.
You know what I'm saying? And I still come in with a smile and treat everybody with love and respect. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, I definitely appreciate. No, talk about the books. I need to know about the books. They're up front and center. Talk about those books.
All right. So, a few years back, I became a self-published author, right? The thing is, I've always been one of them type of people where I like to try. I like to try things, just do them. Mm-hmm. Like, I ain't sitting here saying I want to be like the world's bestseller, right, all of that, but I like to utilize my skills. One of the things that my godfather taught me when I was young was to just write, read. Like, so when my grandmom died, I went through a lot, right? Trying to go to school one day, trying to wake her up. She ain't wake up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't allowed that to define me, though. That was a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was, when my daughter lost her father in 2018, I wrote this book right here called May I Dream. And it was my experience that I went through when I lost my grandma. And I dedicated to her simply to show her that there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? She didn't, like, she's not the only one that goes through this, but I wanted her to understand, like, you got backing, you got support. And not only just her, other young women and people just in general throughout the world. This other book that I have the pleasure of being an author, but 12 of my mentees are also authors within this book as well. So this is our program's first affirmation book. We allowed our young ladies during COVID to kind of like express themselves during the isolation and everything. So for them to be able to get through things, because we are like really big on affirmations, they were able to put in their personal affirmations, understand what affirmations was, the different types of affirmations, so that they can uplift other kids just as well as them. So
see, we need to bring some of that restorative justice circles down there. We need to get those trainers in there. The first book, like, I really appreciate you sharing that with the world, because I know a lot of times in our culture, in our community, we think somebody passing is a reason to be more destructive. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, destructive to yourself and the way that you act afterwards, want to, partying all the time, drinking all the time, you want to fight. A lot of brothers that was upstate, it was like, don't honor or dishonor the person who's passing name by wanting to fight, going to the hole, not going home. That was like my thing to him, like, would your mom want that? As your grief to her, like, I think she would want you to get out of here, get yourself together, do the things that you need to do to get out of here. You're not because the jail is telling you to do it, because you got a higher calling, and even more now because you want to respect your mom's name, who you saying you're grieving so much. Right. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate the book, because like you said, it could have defined you in a different way. You could have been, and you might have still went through those things, but you could have been angry. You could have been moving with a certain aggression. You could have been, a little bit of out of sorts of however it was. And I think, because you went through it the way you went through it and putting that information out there, people do need to hear that.
Nah, I think that is very important. Us as Muslims, like, death is something that we're taught in our religion. That's not necessarily taught in a lot of other religions to that capacity. So, and my journey right now in life is to be able to learn how to accept that and not allow it to hinder me, because from God we come, to Allah we return. So at the end of the day, I'm an advocate of that. It's crazy you said that. I don't normally say this about my nephew. He had passed away a few years. It was all on social media. I've always been humble to not like disclose who he was, but he was P&B Rock, right? Shout out to my sister Nuna. On my dad's side, I got like 9 siblings over there. Me and Nuna like real close. But I say that to say, like, going through the trauma, understanding like how it was displayed on social media and how it hindered our whole family, not only our whole family, the whole world, right? We had to learn to cope with it. And even though it's not easy, but it's just not allowing the grief to be able to take over you. Right. So just teaching the youth how to be able to grasp that, because there's so many kids in Philly that's getting killed and burnt just for nothing. So yeah, just being able to not allow it to define you. I'm a big advocate of saying that. Like, don't allow your experiences, the things that you went through, to define who you are. You can always be thorough in your own way.
And that, I lived that. And, use the lived experiences as a teaching tool, as a training tool, because it is very important to be able to say, I experienced that. Our young people take that more than anything. To me, is like, if I could show you where I'm relatable, it don't really matter the age. Like, they willing to, all right, we'll listen. Yep. Once I can tell you that it's certain things you've done, I've done it multiple times. You know what I'm saying? I've been around it. I heard it. I felt it, the whole 9. And they tend to listen. Yeah. Because people be like, well, why do you think they listen? Because one, I'm not fake with them. Like, I'm like, sometimes I feel like I expose too much of myself to young folks when I'm around them, but it'd be like, no, you getting to learn this in real time, because I'm learning it in real time.
Absolutely.
And I just got a little bit more information, a little bit more experience than you may have. Well, a lot. I did a lot of studying. I did a lot of studying. So I tell people they're going to have to do that too. You're going to have to do. That's why I love what you said. Write and read.
Period.
Read and write.
You got to.
And you can solve so many conflicts by having that. Not just being able to, the one thing within yourself, being able to write certain things that's happening to you out and read it and be like, all right, I might want to deal with this a certain way, or I don't care about that. Whereas though, if you just let it linger, anything can happen.
Yeah.
But when you write it down and you get it out, sometimes just getting it out, you don't want to do nothing after that. It's just like, oh, that was what it was. Reading it, thinking about it, it's not nothing.
Yeah.
And then what reading and writing actually does to your comprehension skills and your ability to critically think. So when you're in situations, you are somebody that can think about outcomes.
No, absolutely.
And you won't do certain things because you kind of already can foresee what's going to happen because you can critically think. That's something else. If y'all not already doing that, I do teach critical thought. So.
Yo, it's crazy you said that. When I went to Lincoln Tech, well, I actually had my book as a critical thinking book. It's like this thick. I told my daughter, she's my assistant director. She just turned 21. Shout out. We literally got like a family business.
Yes,
like,
I love that. And look into a family foundation.
No, period.
That's something I learned about working at my last organization, a family foundation. Look into that. It's like you can get like tax write-offs for taking care of things in your family.
Okay.
Like y'all can, as a group, if y'all vacations, if somebody misses a mortgage payment, and you can get that tax written off by having a family foundation. So all big things that y'all do in your family or y'all do as a group, you could do it through the foundation because your family is now basically a 501c.
No, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And you can get a little bit more into the details of it. Shout out to my brother, Kane. What's up with you, boy? I love black people! I seen it like 2-3 times. Like, you might have thought I didn't see it, but I seen it. And before I forget, I made a point that I get to it. So that is a very important thing I think you and your family should look into. Tell me something that you aspire to, like that maybe nobody knows or everybody knows. What is the next thing? What do you aspire to?
The next thing.
It don't even have to do with, may not even have nothing to do with this. Like, just what is the next thing you aspire to?
You know what? I think the next thing that I'm really inspiring to is just learning how to just be more in tune with myself, because I give so much of myself to others. I don't know how to say no sometimes. So I think that being able to just be one with myself and be real. I'm one of them type of people that I know how to take accountability for my actions. I know how to assess myself. I'm one of those where it's like, all right, dang, I seen what I ain't do. So you know what? I'm going to do this better next time. All right, I'm still in therapy every 2 weeks, period, since 2010. And I don't even care about it, period. Because this is this growth, like understanding who you are and understanding like even flaws or things that you feel like you can always like do better. Man, that's me all day, every day, because I ain't perfect. Nobody is perfect. So just allowing to give myself grace sometimes and not be so hard on myself. So that's what I'm aspiring to be. Just being more, I mean, I'm always humble, but just being one with myself in that capacity. I got you.
It's like, I feel the energy. Now, I kind of get the feeling of how people feel when they be talking to me. Like talking to you, for real, because I be feeling like I be so into it when I'm talking to people that I be digging myself like, is this real? No, is he really like this? Do you really believe this stuff? And I'm sitting here watching you, it's like, yo, like, this really who I am. I really, and you ain't got to explain it to nobody, but it's like, I can feel it. And you like, yo, no, I want to be better every day. And yo, I really be on that. Nah. Like, I really do strive for perfection, knowing I'm never going to be perfect.
Exactly.
You feel what I'm saying? And I hear that, and what you saying is like, no, I'm going to take this chance. I'm going to take this risk. It's going to be calculated. I ain't going to be, just doing anything, but I'm going to do these things. And I'm one of those. Are you a figure it out person?
I'm a figure it out.
Like when something happens, to be like, yo, I'm gonna figure it out.
Period. Can't nobody tell me no. Can't nobody tell me I can't do nothing. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not with it. Like I'm not. Listen, I had to learn from scratch how to become a self-published author. Like literally.
No doubt about that.
You know how like hard that was, but I did that. Now I don't know how many other books I would write. I'm gonna do some more, but I don't know how many. But at the end of the day, I did that. So can't nobody tell me I can't do nothing. Can't nobody tell me it ain't attainable. Like look, they say the sky's the limit. No, it's not. Mm-hmm. Like it's so much more out there. I always aspire my mentees, tap into whatever it is that you want to do, what you want to be. Sky is not the limit. You got it. It's your world. Be creative.
So one more time, tell them what the program is. Give them your name. Tell them where you can be located. All of that real quick.
All right. So Know Your Worth Girls Inc., nonprofit organization. You guys can follow me at KYW Girls Inc. We cater to young girls ages 8 to 17, and even our alumni, they come back. We setting them up to be mentors, program directors, all of those above, so that we can continue to guide them through success.
She said the secret word, y'all, to let me know she really doing it. She got alumni. If you ain't got nobody coming back to your program, you ain't doing no work. You fronting. Yo, this PSA, Philly service announcement, Takeover Tuesday, Takeover love, support, grace, social activism, resources, and art.